Hi, besties. Welcome back to the Single Besties podcast. It is me, Montana Duran, and I'm so glad you're here. We're going to recap what it is like to travel as a single female in this day and age. And let me just tell you, everyone was trying to freak me out about it, and I was like, I cannot wait to not have service to be able to talk to you guys because everyone was trying to scare me. And honestly, it was actually a life changing experience. And we're like, we know this is your second episode talking about it. Pause for a second. The Frenchmen episode turned out to be like 30 minutes long, and I could talk about them for 3 days. So I had to split it up because this is going to be London and Amsterdam, and this is more single bestie coded related that I had to share with you guys. But first of all, we're going to do a rundown of what it is like to travel as a single female right now. I wasn't scared, which is probably bad. I know I should have had a little bit more fear than I did, but I wasn't scared. I also feel like I'm mature enough. Like if I would have tried to do something like this when I was 20, 21, I would have not probably come back like you guys would have be still looking for me. But I do feel like I'm at the age where it's like I am a bit more mature. I'm not going to put myself in a situation that I can't get out of. I know things do happen, especially being in places you don't know. But I feel like I'm pretty good about making decisions. I also have lived in Atlanta and Los Angeles, which are very dangerous cities. So I think that the living in Atlanta made me not scared of anything because I remember one night we were doing a comedy show and then there was a shooting outside. So I feel like I'm pretty good going to other countries because I've and I also like get chased by homeless people. I have been chased by homeless people so many times in LA. I'm more scared to walk down the street than I am to fly 12 hours away. So, you know, you got to pick and choose. You got to be smart. You got to always be aware of your surroundings for sure and be smart. But I wasn't really scared. I also went to pretty safe places. Like I went to London, I went to Amsterdam, and I went to Paris, which are generally pretty safe areas. So I wasn't very scared about going. People tried to scare me more than I was, but I was pretty good because my backyard's worse. The reason I wanted to do this too is because I've been trying to, like, Paris had been on my vision board for 3 years. I have been trying to plan with several different friend groups a trip to Paris, and nothing was working out. And it was my 30th birthday, so that was kind of the intention. Like, I spent like from 27 to 30, like, mixed up in a toxic entanglement. So I was like, I want to do this for myself. Like, I want to let go of this past, like start a new decade fresh, doing something for myself. And I'm sick of waiting on my friends. Like, I love all my friends, but we all live very full and beautiful lives. So it's not like all of our schedules can. I live on the other side of the country from my friends that we were trying to plan it on, some of them too. So it's like trying to coordinate time zones, people's schedules. Like, if you keep waiting, then you turn out to be like 70 and you've never done anything because you were just waiting on your friends. So I was like, you know what? No, like, I'm doing this for me. It was a self-discovery thing. I've never been out of the country besides the islands. Like, I was starting to, and I know this is probably just my own thing, but like when I go, I love to travel. I've done the cross country road trip in America. I've been to a bunch of states here. I've went to the islands, but I've never been out of the country. And I was honestly starting to like cringe out at myself about that because like I go on dates, and a lot of guys I've dated or things like that, they've been very well traveled, and then they just tell me about their experiences and I don't have any of my own. And I have always felt like, ugh, like I've not done those things for myself, and that's a desire I have. Like, I have always wanted to travel the world, and I've just never done it. And it was kind of like a wake up call. Like, you're turning 30 and you haven't done these things that you wanted to do. Like, when are you going to do them? Like, if not now, when, type thing. And so I booked it a month before my birthday, and then the fires happened. And I honestly was getting, like, I was starting to feel guilty about booking it because I was like, everything is hurting here and I'm leaving, I'm escaping. Like, I felt so guilty, but then it was everything my soul needed. Honestly, it was everything. I'm so glad I went. Even my friends here, they were like, please don't feel guilty. Like, allow yourself to go enjoy this. Like, you've been so excited for this. I've been talking about this for so long. So I was really excited. And part of me, like, didn't think it was going to happen. Like, I didn't think it was going to happen, but it was actually way easier than I thought to happen. And I think that's like the biggest thing I learned from the trip is these things that we have as our dreams and the things we want to do. I think we sell ourselves short and we think that they're not possible for us. But when I was on this trip, I was like, oh my God, wait, I'm here. I'm doing this. This was on my vision board. I need to dream bigger. Like, it made me want to dream bigger and ask for more because I'm like, this was like relatively easy to do. Like, did it take a lot of planning? Were there things that I was getting confused about? Yes, but it was possible. And I was living in a moment that I used to like dream about. Like, literally, the Eiffel Tower was on my vision board for 3 years. And I'm like, wait, this was so easy to do. And I think that's what the trip inspired more, and to dream more, to act, like, to want more, that there's more out there than what, I think we always get in this bubble, but there's so much more out there when we just like open our minds and open ourselves up to it. Things like that. And there were so many moments too, like, of like God winks, of like how, yes, the world is so big, but it's also like small. Like, it's a small world too, like, but it's also so huge. I'm like 3,000 miles away from everyone, but I also am making connections, and then like making connections again with people. It was truly so beautiful and so good for self-discovery. Another pro of solo travel is no drama. No drama. Like, you are 100% with yourself. You get to dictate the itinerary. You get to dictate where you're going, what you're doing. I will say that's like a pro and a con, because I think a big problem I had in Paris was like navigating how I was going to get around, because I was in like a weird area. And then when I would try to ride the train, I kept getting, I only got confused in Paris, which is crazy. But like, trying to navigate how to get around, I figured out bikes are the best way to get around in Paris. But, it was like navigating that, and that's a huge pro of traveling by yourself. You get to dictate the schedule. You get to, see how much you want to do in one day, how, if you need to have a chiller day, like, you get to dictate what you do. I think that's kind of what like scares people too, and I was a bit scared of that. Like, I'm always the friend that, like, I love going on friend trips, because usually my friends are so type A. They have all of our excursions, everything mapped out before we get there, tickets paid. I just have to show up, and I feel like a Kardashian when that happens. But this was more like, girl, if you want to do something, like, you have to do it. You have to go get the tickets. And I like that. I felt more independent, like my independence gained. It was so empowering to have gone from not going to any other country besides just like an island, to going to 3 different countries in 10 days. It drained me. And I think that was another reason it drained me, because I was having to like figure out everything on my own. I think it was a bit draining. And I think, looking back, I would have spaced it out more and probably done it over 2 weeks, not crammed so much into 10 days. So I could have given myself those like rest days and things like that. But I think I was like, it is a bit overwhelming. And I had done a bunch of research too before I left too, about how to get around best places, what attractions I wanted to do. And there were some things that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do. And I will say, in every single place I went, I felt like I didn't have enough time. That's why I definitely think I'm about to go on a bit of a nomad experience. So stay tuned for that. But overall, it was the most empowering feeling ever. And so I'm saying this to anyone that, like, if you've had any inkling of wanting to go somewhere or do something on your own, and try it, because stuff like that excites me. I literally packed up my car and moved across the country. So I know it's not for everyone, but I also know there's stuff that you've wanted to do, but you're just waiting on a friend group or a partner. It was just a very empowering experience. And before I left, I had a friend that told me, he was like, why are you going to Paris by yourself? It's the city of love. And I was like, well, first of all, I'm not only going to Paris. He was like, why wouldn't you just wait on your partner? Because what if he wanted to go to Paris, and he wanted, the first time you went to Paris, like, he wanted to show you it and he wanted to experience it with you. And I looked at him and I was like, well, what if I never get married? Plot twist. What if I never find my person? I don't think that's going to happen, but what if that is a reality? And then I spent my whole life waiting on my partner to do things, because if I feel that way about Paris, I'm probably going to feel that way about other things that I want to do, that I'm just waiting on my partner to do them. And I was like, well, what if I never get married? Then I have to live with that. And it was scarier to me. It made me sadder to think about who I would be on my deathbed, never having went to Paris, than going by myself. And then I hit him with this one, which he really didn't like. And I was like, what if my person's in Paris? That's not why I went. But what if my person's in Paris? What if I have a little meet cute at a freaking Paris market? That's a very much option too, because I think that for a lot of singles, we're just sitting around. There's these things, we have a list of things that we want to do, but we're waiting for a partner. We're waiting for a partner. What if that's how you meet your partner? The thing that you're waiting to do, what if that's how you meet your partner? The class you want to start, the thing you want to start. I've met so many people when I started doing comedy, like lifelong friends that I have. A relationship that traumatized me worse than anything, but it was still a great one when it first started. But here's the thing, if I would have never started the hobby, I would have never made these connections that I have for the rest of my life. And so I think it's always those things, whether it's something creative, a job, a new hobby you want to start. You want to start this like workout class. Who knows who you're going to meet there? So like stop waiting for your person to come to start doing things. Do things, and who knows who you're going to meet along the way. Maybe one of the girls in your workout class freaking introduces you to her brother, and then you're married, and that's your sister-in-law. Like, you never freaking know, so just stop waiting. 10 out of 10 recommend, if there's any desire in your heart at all, like if there's any inkling of wanting to do a solo trip, it's the most empowering thing ever. Do your research, be smart, have a bunch of people have your location, tell people where you're staying, do all the things you need to do. Prepare. There's a lot of preparation that goes into a trip across in a different country. There's a lot of preparation. There's certain things you have to do. So do all the research, be smart about it, but freaking do it, because I'm telling you, it was the most empowering thing I've ever done. Even getting lost. I got lost so many times on a bike or walking, and I was like honestly trying to get lost on purpose when I was walking, because I discovered a new side street or a new thing, and it was just so much beauty and culture and experiencing a different culture. You come back, there's things you appreciate about your culture that you didn't know you were going to, and there's things that you appreciate about that other culture that you didn't know you were going to too. So it's a win-win. So now let's talk about my trip. I'm so excited, besties. There's so many bestie COVID updates in here. So the first stop was London, and I left LA at 3:30 on Thursday, and I landed because I was like gonna land at Friday morning in London. It was like 9 a.m. and I was like, perfect, I have a whole day. So I land in London, and originally I was supposed to stay with my friend. Some things happened, but I wasn't stressing because I knew I had a friend that I was meeting. And so I checked into the hotel, but so because my friends weren't able to meet me, they work at this hotel in LA, the one that we worked at when the strikes were happening in LA, that we helped bartend at. So he was like, since we can't meet you like we were originally going to, I want to give you a family and friends discount. And I was like, oh my God, okay. He's like, I know it's your birthday. Stay at the bougie place, be bougie, enjoy it. And so I enjoyed my little family and friends discount. So I get to the hotel in London, and I'm checking in, and I'm like jet lagged. To get lost, the first place I got lost was trying to get off the train. Like, literally, the train dropped me right in front of my hotel, but I could not get out of the train station because I was like, am I trapped? It's like a mall in there. I'm like, am I trapped in the freaking train station? But it was right there. I got out, got to the hotel, and the cheekiest little bum checks me in. And when I tell you, this man was so fine, but I was also so freaking jet lagged and tired, I was like, what is happening? Am I here? And I'm telling you, I was sweating because I was like, had all these winter clothes on, and it was like barely cold. So I'm like, get to the hotel, I'm frazzled. And he's like, hello. With his cute little accent, okay? His cute little British accent. And he's like, ma'am, so proper and freaking manners. Oh my God. And he's like, can I get you anything? Like, like the hotel schmotel stuff, but this is like a bougie place. So I'm like, he's like, water, a latte. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, a latte. So he stops checking me in, full on goes, makes me the best latte I've ever had in my life that brought me back to life. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And so then I go to so he tells me to, he's just so cheeky, and he's burned in my brain forever. So I go up to my room, check in, and then I'm like kicking myself. I'm like, why did I not talk to this man? Like, he's so cheeky, he's so cute. It's my rom-com moment. And then I like just kick myself, whatever. I don't talk to him. Then I go downstairs, I don't see him again. So then I go back upstairs I leave, come back, whatever. I still don't see him. And so then it's time for me to go meet my friend Taylor. So I'm leaving the hotel. I spotted a cute check-in boy. And so I had already done my research on the tube. I knew where I was going. I knew what tube to get on, how to go, what to do. But I was like acting like so nervous. I was like, Jude, how do I get on the train? What do I do? The tube, like, what even is a tube? And he tells me how to do it. And then I go, oh, what's your name? And he goes, Jude. And so I leave to go meet my friend. And I'm like, okay, bye, Jude. Like, I'm finally flirting back because I'm a little bit awake. And I'm leaving the hotel to go meet my friend. I go meet my friend, Taylor. And so we'll come back to Jude because that's what this is. That's what this is, okay? We'll come back to Jude, but we need to talk about Taylor now because I was only in London for 48 hours and they about killed me there. But I love it. I loved it. It felt like I went back in time. It felt like I was in a period piece. I loved it. The history, like you can tell like a real country from a baby country, if you know what I'm saying. So you can just feel the history. And so I go meet Taylor. Taylor is my first ever podcast friend, and we did a podcast when I first was rebranding to Single Besties because when I was Tana Talks, he was my first podcast friend. We met in a Facebook group. He had a podcast based out of the UK called Waffle Shop, and you have a waffle with him. It was a big mental health men's podcast, like, and he has just like done amazing things. Truly, like, he's won awards. He's interviewed really crazy guests, like freaking Ed Sheeran. Like, we stan Taylor, we stan him. But I've had several podcast friends throughout this journey, and I've lost track with some. Some are just kind of competitive, some are fake. But me and Taylor, so it's funny, like me and Taylor and me and Sophia are my very first OG podcast friends. But Taylor lives in UK, and we've always planned, like, he was going to come to New York, I was going to come to London, and then the pandemic, like, we met during the pandemic, but like the stipulations, like, for a year, like, so it's just not worked out. And so, like, when I first booked this trip, like, even though I was going to meet another friend, like, I immediately told him because I was going to try to make it work no matter what I was doing to meet up with Taylor in person. And honestly, I was so excited the whole time, but then, like, as I'm on my way to meet Taylor, I'm like, wait, what if we hate each other? Ended up having the best conversation. We were talking business because both of us had different jobs when we first started podcasting. Now we both manage other people's podcasts and are doing ours. His is freaking so crazy. I'm single besties now. Like, we were just talking, and it was like we had been best friends for years. And it was like those 5 years of podcast, like, internet friendship, were actually real. And then we met up with his other friend who's like an event planner. So, like, spoiler alert, we might be trying to cook up something in London. Who knows? And it was just so incredible. But I knew, so this goes back to planning for your solo trip. I knew that it was my birthday weekend. Or it was my birthday week. We were having a whole week because I was 30. And I wasn't going to be able to go out really. And I'm not really a go out kind of girl. I'm more of a let's go to dinner and then I'm going to go home. That's my favorite thing to do, is like go out to a bougie dinner and look nice, maybe take some pics, do maybe, have a drink at a rooftop. But I'm not a like, let's go out to the bar and party kind of girl. But I was in London, and I was with these like my friend that I've known for 5 years, but haven't really known for 5 years. And we just had the best 3 hour long conversation. He meets up with his other friend. We go out to the bars, and they have different words for drunk. They say like pissed, smashed, I think smashed, smashed, pissed, all kinds of stuff. I was everything. They just, before I would even be done with the drink, they'd be passing me one. But this is where it comes back to solo travel. I knew that I was going to be alone for the rest of the time. Like, I had a couple dates in Paris lined up, but I'm not going to go out to the bars with my dates. And I'm not going to like get super, I felt comfortable, basically. Like, I knew I had one night to go out with my friends because I was only in London for 48 hours, and that was freaking plenty for me and my body. Like, it took me days to recover. So we go out, and it's just like so much fun. That Lola Scott song, "'Cause I'm Too Messy," plays. We had a full concert to ourselves. Like, it was so incredible. But that was why that I had to plan it, because I was like, this is my one night to go hard in the paint. Like, I can go do night things, but like, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing things. I'm with my Brits, I'm with these freaking Londoners that they drink like fish. They probably have a drinking, I don't trust them. My hair got ruined, my halo extensions got ruined. Oh my god, I've been on a TikTok rampage trying to get a new freaking halo because I ruined my extensions. I've been wearing these extensions for 10 years. I've had nights with my extensions, nothing like this. It was horrible. My nails fell off. I had to get my nails done in Amsterdam when I went to Amsterdam the next day. It was just like, I don't know what happened. Like, I like don't know how my hair got so messed up. That's what I think. It was because I was going from hot to cold, like hot to cold, hot to cold, and like it got so matted and disgusting. The nails, I also think they were just done poorly before I left, but you would have thought that I was like, I wasn't even really that. I just think it was a combination of like maybe drinking, jet lag, no sleep, being in a new place. Like it was the best night of my life, truly. But then I don't really sleep. Plot twist. So then I go back to the hotel. This is where Jude comes back. So I told you guys Jude is so cheeky. I shouldn't probably be saying his name. It's okay. He's not going to find this. It's not like I'm easily searchable. Anyway, so I get back to the hotel and I'm telling you, I'm smashed. I'm trash, but I'm coming back to this bougie hotel. And I see a little treat for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a bath bomb, this London keychain, and then this handwritten note. I'm going to read it for the class. Dear Mr. Ann, welcome to the Ondons London. It was a pleasure hosting your check-in this afternoon. I hope that everything is okay with the room. I hope you can enjoy a wonderful couple of days with us before heading off to Paris. Enjoy this small gift on us. Your Ondas host, Jude. And then also, this says the Pearly Room. My room, this is just so on brand. This is so on brand. This is a pause from the Jude story. The hotel I was staying in, there had like history facts of what room was what. The hotel in general, it was historical because it was the first ever hospital for the mentally ill. And I was like, this is so on brand because I am so unwell. I digress. So I get this handwritten note, the bath bomb, the keychain, and I'm absolutely just smitten. And I'm like, oh my God, Jude is also in love with me. He's like vibing. We're vibing. The vibes are good. So I call my friend immediately that I got the family and friends discount from. And I'm like, is this protocol of the hotel? And he was like, no. And I was like, is he in love with me? And he's like, I gotta call you back. So like then I'm left to spiral and ask my close friends on Instagram if this is love. And I honestly was a bit tipsy. I was a bit smashed in the close friends. So they were all just gassing me up at how hilarious this story was, how hilarious I told it, and that I needed to send this man an email. So I did story update. I did send this man an email, and this is how I got the man's email. My guy friend, I'm just over here rambling. I'm like, I miss the love of my life. Like the guy that gave me the bath bomb. I'm like, it's probably his job, Montana. I'm like, it's probably, they're very proper there. They're very have manners there. And he works in hospitality. Like, this probably was his job, Montana. Like, he probably is not in love with you. But of course, I'm telling everyone we're in love. And so I'm texting my guy friend about it. And he's like, calls me and he's like, call the hotel and see if he's working. And then if he's not working, ask for his email because I couldn't find it online. And I even asked ChatGPT. So I call the hotel, give this man's email, send him. My friend helps me write the email because he's like a guy. And so sometimes I get his help to write like good stuff. And he wrote this crazy, it was so professional. And then the last line was like, did you just say that? But it was like a proper way to be like kind of like I like you or like I'm coming back, like want to hang out. And so then he sends me back an email and it was like so professional. And then I was like, Montana, what did you expect? You literally sent it to his professional email. But I thought he was gonna like, I don't know, stalk me or something, which is like, I not stalk me. I shouldn't say that, but like follow me on Instagram or something. Like, I feel like my name is not that hard to find. So I feel like if he was interested, he would have followed me, but he didn't. But he did send back a very professional email response, even though mine was a bit reckless. But so we're probably not in love. It was probably definitely just his job, but it did make my trip and it made me love London. So I barely sleep that first night. Then I spend the whole next day exploring, come back, try to fix my extensions, get ready to leave to go to Amsterdam the next morning. So this is where I feel like things like everything was connecting. Like even me meeting the event planner in London, me meeting my friend, and it felt like everything just felt so kismet. Like there were so many synchronicities. Everything just felt aligned. Like I just kept feeling like God was winking at me saying like you're on the right path. And those are the moments that I love and that I live for, and that it's been a while since I've had some of those moments, and it felt really good. Like I haven't had this feeling, probably this like stirring since I moved to LA. Like this is the last time I had this feeling was when I picked up everything and moved here. And so that's why I like when I do feel that feeling, I know it's familiar to me now. But I like it, and it's something stirring in me. So I'm going on the train to go to Amsterdam, and these guys behind me, they can tell I'm American. I guess I just freaking stick. I just look whatever. It's fine. I thought I was more. My grandma's Syrian. I thought I didn't look super American. So I meet these guys behind me, and it's like a family of like uncles, brothers. You can just tell, and they are just absolutely drunk because it is like 8 a.m. It's like an 8 a.m. train, but they were like, "We've been out at the pub since last night. It's my boy's 18th birthday," and so it was like five guys. They're all family, and they're going to Amsterdam for their son's 18th birthday, but they stayed up the whole night drinking before, and so they're asking me about America. We're just like having a chat. They helped me get through the TSA because there's like, or I guess it's not TSA. I don't know what it's called, but it's like the security at the train. So we get through because I had my phone out, and he was like, "You can't have your phone in here." He like saved my life. So we're all chatting, and then they passed out on the train, but so we didn't get to say goodbye. And I was like, "Dang, that was so funny though." It was just like a really good connection, and that's what happens when you travel solo travel. And I think a lot of people are scared because they don't want to be alone. They don't want to be alone with their thoughts. They think it's so lonely. But I feel like it makes you more approachable. More people come up and talk to you. Like people are willing to help. Like it just opens up a different kind of energy. It opens you up, and like if I were with my group of friends, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to talk to strangers or do things like that. So it like kind of forces you to immerse yourself in the culture you're in and in the space you're in, and talk to people, and people want to talk to you. And that's how, we get better, is like by making those connections. So I loved it because I made so many of those like random conversations, like in the street or in the place, like just talking to people was, and meeting new people. I love doing stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I'm never going to see those guys again. So then I'm on the train to Amsterdam, and I'm just struggling because, like I said, the Brits just destroyed me the night before. And then the night before that, I'm like working on my hair. Like, so I really didn't have much sleep. I'm like struggling on this train in Amsterdam. Then I get into Amsterdam. No, on the way to Amsterdam, I'm like checking my TikTok because I was posting some TikToks about my hair extravaganza dismantling. And one of the OG girls from the Single Besties Facebook group. So before Single Besties was a podcast, it was just a Facebook group that I had started from TikTok of this book called Calling in the One. And it was basically a book about calling in the love of your life and manifesting the love of your life. But really, it was a self love book teaching you that you are the love of your life. But when I started this book, I didn't know that because I had not read it before. And so I started this group with women. It was like a 6 or 8 week book. I can't remember at this point. And we started the Facebook group. We would do weekly book studies. Then we would continue after because it was the pandemic. And so people were craving that connection. But I also was like working a corporate job. It was just like a lot to manage. Like then I had Tana Talks as a podcast. Like, so things were so separated then. But the Facebook group was a big, strong community of like single women. And that is why I started this podcast, because I was like trying to niche down from Tana Talks, and like I was like, well, I always talk about being single and single people, and that's what always works, so why not? So this girl, I remember meeting her in the Single Besties group. She was always active. We would do the book study, we would do the group, and we would always just like catch on, and she was always active, always engaging, and we would text, we would follow each other on TikTok. Like we've only been internet friends. So like I'm on the train to Amsterdam, but I didn't really tell anybody I was going to Amsterdam. I didn't know why I wanted to go to Amsterdam. Oh, yes. My friend Karen told me I would really like it. And I wanted to do 3 countries. And that just felt the most feasible to go: London, Amsterdam, Paris. Like and they were all, I could get there by train to all of them. It just felt like it was the quickest way to do 3. And he was like, I think you would really like it. Like it's very artsy, I think you would really like it. And turns out I freaking loved it. So I'm on the train there, and I didn't know, so I didn't tell very many people I was going there because I didn't think I knew anybody there. And I had totally, because the Single Besties Facebook group has been so, like, I don't use it anymore. I just use like Instagram and TikTok. I forgot about my friend in Amsterdam. Like, cause we haven't talked in like 6 months or honestly like a year. Like, we'll send each other TikToks, but like, whatever. And so I'm on TikTok checking my notifications, and she was like, I wish you were coming to Amsterdam. And I said, shut up. I'm on it. Or she said, I wish you were coming to Netherlands, because I forgot she lived in Netherlands. And I go, I'm coming to Amsterdam. So then I immediately DM her. I'm like, how far are you? She was only in Rotterdam. She came. We had the best time. We met in person. And so we did a boat tour. Okay. So we do a boat tour. I go to the freaking wrong location. I booked the tickets, went to the wrong location. Don't know how that happened. So I was 8 minutes late to our takeoff. And so they had to ask everyone on the train, are you guys okay? Like, one of our guests is 8 minutes late. Are you guys okay with starting 8 minutes late? And everyone was like, okay, okay, okay. I was the only American too, and I had to be the only one late. I'm sorry, guys, not holding down our freaking reputation good. So I get on the boat and I see my friend that I met, or my friend that I know from TikTok. We have a moment. She's so freaking tall. We never asked how tall each other were. She's so tall. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't stop saying you're so tall. So then I get on the boat and I get like evil eyes from everyone, because it's like, oh, she's 8 minutes late and she's American. And then I turn, and it's the freaking guys from the train. The London guys from the train. We're on the same exact tour. There's so many boat tour companies. There was so many different times. Like, what were the chances of us? So then we all had a moment. We took a little walk and after and just bonded. And honestly, it was so beautiful in Amsterdam. Like, the biggest thing I can take from any of these trips that I've just got back from is excellence. I saw that everywhere I went, in all the buildings and all the architecture and all the structures. Excellence. Like, people do things with such excellence. They care about the way things are done. They that is what I want. And the creativity, like the free spirit, like everywhere in Amsterdam, people were riding bikes. Like, I almost got hit by like 75 bikes because they were just, everyone rides a bike there. It's honestly easier to bike there, which is like, that's why everyone is so healthy. I lost so much weight when I was gone because I was just walking everywhere, or riding a bike, or walking to the train, or walking in the trains. Like, just such a more active lifestyle when their public transportation works. So I don't know. It was just so crazy meeting her in real life, which was like so full circle, because I went for myself, but I also went because I tell you guys to do things, but if I'm not doing them, then I'm not living authentic. So like, part of this trip was a single bestie coded reason. And then to meet one of the besties in the wild in a different continent was just so crazy. And then my friends being like, you should do an event here. Like, the thought of like doing things in other countries, like, that never even crossed my mind until this trip. But the thought is quickly becoming a reality, and it was just beautiful. And I'm like, well, if this happened in just 9 days, what would happen if I did take this adventure? So it definitely has made me, I'm in a position. I work for myself now. I have clients. I work all online. So like, I am in a position where it's like, I don't know what to do. I do feel like a calling, and I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do. I just don't know if I want to tell you guys yet. But things are about to change, and change in the best way. And things that I've been wanting for a long time are just like, everything is just aligning, and I just want to continue where they align. And so it was just such a bestie moment, like meeting my first ever podcast friend, meeting the event planner, meeting my friend that knows me just from TikTok, Single Bestie Facebook group. Like, the first thing that ever made me go viral was the Single People Bestie book that we were reading together. And it it wasn't just about a video or about a platform or anything. It was about the connections. Like, that is why I love TikTok, and that's why I hate that TikTok hates me right now, because it truly gave me the sense of, one, being a creator, and then also creating a community, because the connections that I had in person with the bestie, like, was so nice. And I've met so many other besties. Like, there's one, Allie, in LA. Like, she came to the freaking event, and we were like, we had never met in person until the LA event. Like, so many stories like that it just makes me feel like I am on the right path, and that I'm really grateful for the community that we're building. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast, supporting me, listening, engaging with the content. Like, I don't take any of it for granted, and I don't want to be a huge influencer or a huge podcaster for the wrong reasons. It's because of moments like what happened on my trip. Like when we all come together at the live events, when I meet people in the wild, when we have it's about building a community, like truly, and empowering others, because I have been the girl that was so sad about being single and just couldn't wait to be married, that she wasn't living her life. And it sucks. It sucks. It's way more fun to just embrace this time and trust that's what's coming for you is coming for you, and not be so down bad for a freaking man. What you're doing right now is saving yourself from your first divorce. And the first divorce happens usually between 27 and 30. And they cost $15,000. So here's the thing, besties. You're just saving yourself money. You're winning. Girl math, you have 15,000 extra dollars in the bank. Like, girl math. I don't usually talk for this long, so we are going to end this recap here. You guys, it was a life-changing experience. I don't care if I'm that girl that goes to Europe one time and never comes back the same, because I don't want to be the same. Because here's the thing, we're not supposed to be the same. And it has changed my life. I will never forget that experience. I will tell my children about it. And I want to encourage every single one of you guys that if you have a little inkling or a desire of wanting to do something like this, just freaking do it. I love you. I mean it. Bye.